Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Screaming Chuy Show. And I got a special guest, longtime homie, and very talented multi-genre author. Yeah, you guessed it. Roderick Edwards. What's happening, Rod?
Hey, how's it going?
Good,
Back,
man.
back on the Chewy show. Uh,
Welcome back.
I don't know how I rank now that you got Cheech and Chong going on in the show here. I think next week you're going to have the famous tweaking sisters, the Pelosi sisters, or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Oh
man.
no, they just shake and control, but it has nothing to do with tweaking. I forgot.
I think you're one of the guests that I've had on the most. And to be honest, you're the first like actual like professional guest I ever had. Cause like, so when I was new, when I started podcasting, I had so much trouble getting guests, bro. And like, cause nobody would take me seriously because I was new, right?
And they do now.
Oh yeah, you
Okay,
know, I think so. But
okay, I'm just kidding.
you're the first, actual like author that, professional like that I had on my show, man. And like, we known each other quite a while, man.
Yeah,
Even
we have. I expect your first kid to be named after me, little Rodrigo. Yeah.
hey, hey, you wrote me as a main character in a book, bro. That's the least
Oh
I
yeah, there we
can
go.
do
Yeah.
after you.
Main character. That's selling pretty good occasionally. Here occasionally, wow, okay. Got a couple. They like the audiobooks better. I think they like the audiobooks, so it's going out
The
pretty
new
good.
age.
The Aborigines,
Yeah,
where
I love it,
take on the Europeans with guns. Who
dude.
wouldn't love a boy like? It needs to be like a movie or like at least a series or something.
Dude, I love it, bro. It just wanted me like I wanted more when it ended. And like you wrote me in so well. Like I really would say and do stuff like that in the
Yeah,
book.
it took a while, but I think I got you down now.
Yeah, man. And he did a pretty good voice too.
Yeah, he did. I think you would have probably done even better, but yeah, he did a good job of catching you.
Yeah, I was like, I know you asked me, but like I think I'd fuck it up, bro. Like I'm not good at stuff like that.
Nah, you're good. You're getting better and better all the time. I mean, I've seen the transition from, like you said, when you first started. Not that you ever weren't confident, but you can tell you're more confident now than you
Oh
ever
yeah.
been in the
Appreciate
show.
it, man. Appreciate it. And
Yeah.
you've been kicking ass, bro. Got a lot of books. I mean, dude, you just don't stop. And got a new book, More Than Trump. So let's get into this, man. It's gonna get spicy.
Yes, but it's about more than Trump. But the first thing, I mean, what do you think of? I mean, you're younger than I. You're how old? I don't know. You're at 30,
I just
30?
turned 36.
Oh, you're older than I think you were. Thought you
I
were.
know,
So,
right?
oh wow, dang, you've aged pretty well. You need to get out, smoke, and do more hard liquor.
Appreciate it. I'll get on that.
So your generation below you, when they hear about Trump, because they have been fed such a line about who he is. He's this rich old white dude that wants to do dumb shit and blah blah blah. And that's really what you think of. But
Hmm.
if you go back further in time, you see Trump hanging around with Snoop Dogg and Don King, the boxing guy,
Yeah.
and all people back in the heyday of Trump's era in the 80s. How did he go from being this cool guy everybody wants their picture taken with to this hated politician? And so this is what this book gets into about. And it's not really about Trump, as it says about more than Trump. So I
Mhm.
think we touch on a lot of stuff. You got a chance to hopefully peruse just a little bit of it still in the works. But
Yeah, and you're right. He even came out in Home Alone. You know,
yeah,
movie everybody loves. Nobody said nothing. And
no, nobody said anything until here recently. Obviously, once he ran for president. First of all, I thought he was a joke. Oh, he'll never be president. You had all kinds of late night people say, he's just a joke. He'll never be president. You even had Obama doing some top 10 list on something about mean tweets. I think it was on Kimball. And he said something he was reading off going, Donald Trump says, I'll be going down as the worst president in history. This is Obama saying it. Well, at least I will go down as a president in history. Oops, he had to eat his words. So obviously Trump made it. So there's all kinds of stuff like that just
Mhm.
crazy. It's like high school punk stuff that you like punch somebody in the face for over.
Yeah, and
He's
you're right. The
yeah.
media just fucking attacked him, and like you know me, you know how I feel. I don't like any of them, like any of those politicians. But like Hillary, the Clintons, they did a lot worse than Trump,
Well,
and like
that's the key. You just said the key right there. Politicians. So, for example, for a moment, even the Bushes, so I'm going to beat up them both. The Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, all these people came right from college into politics. Whether it's obviously Bush Jr. with Bush Sr., his dad was already president, already a politician, so they never really lived in the real world. Now, well, Trump didn't either. He's a really rich guy. Okay, well, he did because he still had to take his dad's money and turn it into something else. His dad didn't leave him Trump Tower. His dad didn't leave him all those golf courses. His dad left him, yes, a business, and he turned it into something else. So he understands to some degree, even though he does live in a golden tower, he does understand you and I to some degree. He interacts with people like the Bushes and the Obamas and all. They came right out of college, went right into politics. They know nothing else. They are true politicians. And I think that's the main reason they attacked me, because he is not like them. He doesn't play the game at all.
You're right. You're right. And yeah, exactly. That's why they put the spotlight on him. You know, like I said, through the Bushes, you know, whether people want to believe it or not, they were involved in 9/11. You know, I'm not going to dive deep into that, but, you know, people do their own research. You know, and the Clintons, they've done a lot of fucked up shit that the news don't talk about. They don't attack them, you know. They just make a joke about it, like, oh, the emails, like it's just a joke, but it's real shit that happened.
Yeah. I think it's funny how you'll have the experts tell us to do research for things like our religious beliefs or our medical issues. But when it comes to politics, they tell you, oh, no, don't do your own research. You're too stupid to do that. Listen to us. We'll tell you. No, I'm going to do my own research on everything, even politics, as to see what is true or not. So I'm going to do my own research.
Yep. Very true. Very true. You're damn good at that, bro. I love that you know your stuff and you do a lot of research when it comes to things.
I try to be as unbiased. Obviously, we've said this before on your previous shows. There's no such thing as an unbiased person. There's people who understand their biases and are very, very transparent about them. Here's my bias, but I do lean towards, if you want to call it right wing, because I tend to believe that's, you know, right wing tends to be people who are more independent, people who want their freedoms. They don't want to tell other people what to do as a collective. Like, obviously, you have all these environmentalists and the social justice work. All these people want you to do what they tell you. They'll glue themselves to damn streets. Did you see that one lady here just recently where these two girls actually glued themselves and cemented themselves to a street? They had to cut them out, and they're probably going to lose their hands over it.
Oh my God, I didn't see that.
Yeah, yeah, you did look that up. I was like, what in the world? I mean, if you're so desperate and you think that the world's going to end next week because of fossil fuels, that you're going to glue yourself to a street, that's some pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if I really thought the world was going to end in a year or so, I wouldn't be gluing myself to the street or doing anything else but some crazy ass shit. I wouldn't try to, because if it's too late, according to them, it doesn't matter. There's nothing we can do about it anyhow, right?
Yes.
So,
and you know, pushing all these agendas to children. They're literally saying we're coming after your children. Like,
right?
It's getting crazy, bro.
And we've had these discussions before. I have no problem with a grown adult, as long as you're not infringing upon my freedom. If you want to cut off your wee and try to make some doctor give you a vaginal pocket or whatever the hell you want to call it, or put on you a fake whatever you want to, you want to do that as an adult, you could do that all you want on your own money, not on my dime, not on my tax dollar. You could do that all you want. I care less. Just don't tell me I need to teach my kids about it. That's the stopping point right there.
Yeah.
And I think most rational people would agree with that. But because the fact that, you know, transsexualism, we'll get into this a little bit, is a dying breed, because they don't really procreate. They need new members. How do you get new members? Children. You know. I personally believe it's possible that it's part of the depopulation plan, because you know all these, Bill Gates and all these people want to depopulate the planet. Well, if you have a lot of people going around and degenderizing themselves and not having sex for procreation, you're going to cut the population. So that's a win-win for them, right?
Yeah,
so it's kind of like playing into their agenda.
And they're very open about their agenda too. They're not hiding it.
No, they'll tell you right out. They think that we need less population because the world can't sustain this population. So we got to fix it somehow. Maybe a virus, a worldwide virus, maybe that'll do it.
Like that movie V for Vendetta. That was fucking 2020 right there.
Yeah, that can never happen though.
I love how you start your book by saying, perhaps no political figure in the U.S. history has been more polarizing than Donald Trump. I love how you started that. Can you go a little bit more into that?
Well, obviously, it's a true statement no matter what you think about Trump. You think, oh, You could say, oh, he's an asshole. He makes me mad. He polarizes me. Like that makes me think of, and if you got further in the book, of that one image when he was being inaugurated, and there's a woman basically laying on the ground screaming. I don't know if you've seen that one. Have you seen that one?
Yes, with the glasses and the beanie.
Yeah. I mean, what politician makes you scream like that? What is it that he's going to do to you? I mean, there's no politician, even the ones I don't like, that have made me want to go out and scream on the street. No, just because none of them have taken your rights away. What rights can they take away from you, really? I mean, short of locking you up into a cattle car, not one of the presidents on either side have taken away rights that are really affect all of us.
True.
If the closest it came to, and you'll see when you get further in the book, is guess who? You think it's Obama? No. You think it's Trump? No. You think it's George Bush? No. Guess who it was? It was Abraham Lincoln. He suspended what's called habeas corpus, which basically gave you the right to appear before a court. He said, no, we don't have time for that. We're suspending that, and therefore traitors and rebels will be dealt with summarily.
Oh, shit.
Abraham Lincoln was basically an American dictator, but we don't see him that way now. We see him as this great fatherly figure with his beard that helped save America from its, to split. So, but he did crazy stuff.
Yeah.
There's no politician, no president in history that's going to upset you enough to make you go out the street and scream no. Dude, if it does, you need to check your mental health.
Dude, watching that video makes me laugh every time. She dropped to her knees and she's like, no.
What is up with that? Come on now. I mean, but I get it now. If you back up, try to be a little more rational, a little more professional, like we said earlier. This woman was told, and a lot of people are told, that Trump wants to kill homosexuals. He wants to make sure that all women, if you're raped or whatever, you'll have to force to raise your kid and blah, blah. They're told this stuff. And so if you're told this stuff all the time, he's going to destroy the environment, and we're all going to die within 10 years, according to, what's her name, Thunderberg, the little girl in Sweden. If you're told all this stuff over and over and over, then of course you're going to have the response. I get why they have the response.
Yeah, and they literally acted like the world's going to end,
Yeah, and if it is, why waste it on this stuff? I mean, most people, what they hear, like even Prince knew that if the world's going to end, you party up like it's 1999. You don't go in the street and start screaming. It's not going to do any good. So,
and you mentioned something, if he does go to jail, can he still run for president? Like, what could happen, right?
Yes, he can. I believe it was Marion Barry, who I think was in jail. These facts might not be quite right, but I'm close. It might not be him, but there was some political candidate, I think a mayor in DC, who was in jail at the time and ran for office and then won, and then got out of office and served the term. So Trump can technically do that. I mean, think about it first of all. Trump, when he ran against Biden, we all know this is a fact. When Trump ran against Biden, he had these Trump had all these huge rallies. Everybody always showing up to him. Now, if you want to say it's a cult or whatever, so be it. But at any rate, he attracted a lot of people. Biden couldn't even attract 1,000 people to any of his rallies. We all see it. We all seen it. He'd do them in high school gyms and hardly fill them at all. So my point is, a president in prison is more popular than a president out here is amazing. I mean, he's going to still be popular. I don't think it's going to backfire on him if they do put him in prison or somehow put him in prison. First of all, I don't think if you don't care about the country, if you're going to put the country through this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Democrats, you definitely don't care about the country.
Yeah, they focus more about attacking him than.
Yeah, they already believe that he won't win. So what's the point? If you don't think he's going to win, just he'll go away if he loses in 2024, right? But they're afraid he's going to win is the problem, and they have to stop it at all costs.
You're right. Because if they weren't worried about him winning, they wouldn't make a big deal about it. They would just let it play it through,
Play it through, and that would be the end of it, man. Because after that, first of all, he's going to be too old. He's going to be another 4 years after that. He's going to get pretty old. As we know, Biden probably, if he wins, he probably won't even make it through his next 4 years. You can't have some dude falling upstairs and falling down on stages and falling off bicycles and having the Easter Bunny. Did you see that one? I think I told you last time.
Yes.
The Secret Service had to be in that Easter Bunny outfit. He was going on the receiving line, shaking hands, and he was confused. So the Easter Bunny had to guide him back to where you need to go. That's pretty bad.
You're like, come here. This way.
Come here. You should have like one of those little, like they used to have those little leashes on children when you have children. We'll put around their waist. Yeah. Come on, Mr. President. I mean, it gets ridiculous. This is the free world. Don't we have anybody else to elect besides people like this? I mean, I can respect Obama. I mean, the guy at least was slick, had it all going. He had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Biden, it's like the clueless grandfather that lives down the street. Huh? When's the baked beans coming? Is the Meals on Wheels coming? I mean, he's just completely clueless.
Look, this is
So,
this is our president. Look.
But you know the thing. You know how we talk about it. Are we the people?
Like, what is he saying?
he doesn't know what he's saying. And I would say the same thing about any other president. Obviously, there at the end, Ronald Reagan had Alzheimer's, and they had to keep him out of the spotlight because he was starting to say rambling, crazy stuff.
Didn't know that. Holy
Yeah,
shit!
he had Alzheimer's. So at the end, last part of his last term, and we obviously had FDR, which if you go back and try to look, he was never photoed. He was actually in a wheelchair. He suffered paralysis and couldn't walk there when he ran for president.
Holy
He
shit!
was a governor of New York, so I think he was our first. We always have to have first. He was the first handicapped president. I can't wait until we have our first left-handed, blue-eyed, brown-eyed, one-haired, goateed, whatever president. Why do we have to always worry about who's the first of something?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like a bookmark, the presidents.
It's sort of like when you're in high school and you're one of the teams here, whether it's dodgeball, whatever. I'm the first to be picked on the team. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
Say, hey, just get up there and do us good,
Yeah, your humanity should transcend all that. There's the word I'm looking for. Transcend all that. Like I said, I think I said this once on your previous show. Obama had a unique opportunity because he's half white and half black. He's not the first black president. He's a half black and half white president.
Mm-hmm.
He had the unique opportunity to help bridge that gap. And anytime somebody from the black community said, he's the first black president, he should have said, nope, nope, nope. I am the first half black president, half white, half black. I represent a good cross section of America. He could have made it. Instead, he let it feed into that whole, I'm the first black president. That was not good for the country.
He just took that and ran with it.
Yeah. And he wasn't raised like a black American. He was raised in Hawaii. And then at, I think, age 6 or 7, he was taken to Indonesia, where his mother changed his citizenship to Indonesian. So technically he shouldn't have been able to run because of that, not because of the Kenyan stuff, because of the Indonesians. And so he's raised as an Indonesian Muslim. Not saying anything wrong with it. I'm just saying he wasn't raised like a typical black American. So he doesn't really know anything about being black. You're more black than he is.
Right? Look,
I'm more black. Look at his lips.
I got black all over my arms.
Yeah. Chuy, once you get the face tattoos, that means I'm done with society. I'm dropping out. So
I'm gonna get a little teardrop.
Right here. Once you start doing that, it says I no longer even want to work at McDonald's. That's what that's saying.
Give up in life.
Yeah. All right, where are we going now? I just forgot to ramble.
I like how you mentioned about the was it January 6th? How they're investigating more into that now.
Yeah, the chief of police, let's see, Stephen Sund, I'm trying to remember his name. Stephen Sund did an interview with Tucker Carlson right before the Fox News took him off the air. It was going to get ready to air. But basically, he said that he had enough. He would have had enough police had he got some more help, and they could have easily held back the force. And that he thinks something else was going on, like it was planned. He also said that he knows for a fact there were a lot of FBI and DHS agents in the crowd. So he says it felt like some kind of planned event, like they meant for it to happen. And here's the chief of Capitol Police, but they can't let that get out there because it's supposed to look like, Trump supporters had an insurrection. I'm telling you right now, and I think all of you know, right-wingers, all the people who know right-wingers, if they wanted an insurrection, they would have brought a whole bunch of guns, and that place would have been an insurrection. As far as I know, there was not one gun produced by any of the people that walked through there. The only person that got shot was that girl climbing through the window, Ashley Babbitt. And she wasn't even through the window yet. So here you are, you're a big bad Capitol policeman. There's 3 or 4 of them in there. You got this person, yes, it might be scary. You got this person climbing through the window, a girl. She didn't even have her feet on the ground yet, and you shoot her through the window. That's really brave. Could you at least let her go through the window and run at you or something, just so it looks? Because typically, if you were a police officer in that would be a police action shooting, you'd probably get fired for.
Yeah.
If you started shooting somebody before they even actually did anything to warrant shot, and we do that all the time when that happens.
Because she wasn't a threat yet, you know what I mean?
Not yet. The moment she set her foot on the ground inside that room, maybe. maybe. Definitely if she was running at him, but none of that was the case. He shot her through the window before she made it through the window. So,
And like you mentioned that he said that there was FBI agents and other agents in the crowd in
yeah,
disguise as people, right? And they throw all this shade at, oh, it was MAGA, like they they just want to focus on this group of people to make them look bad, but it's obviously an inside job, and this has happened before too in the riots. There's been people that be like, hey, I recognize that guy, this guy's an agent, and people breaking windows and setting fires, they were in that crowd too, agents or
right,
off duty police officers as well.
right. And if you back up even more and go back and watch some of the actual videos, not just the ones that CNN shows, but actual videos, you'll see the Capitol Police removing barricades so people can get around the barricades and get closer to the Capitol. You'll see Capitol Police holding open some of the doors. Now I get it, they smashed some of the windows. First of all, I was thinking about the other day, it's like, why the hell does our Capitol not have bulletproof windows, or at least the kind of windows that have the metal wiring through it, so there's no way you can smash it? I don't get why that's not the case. But anyhow, let's back up for a minute. So you had the Capitol Police holding doors open for them, taking selfies with them. This didn't look like an insurrection to me. I mean, they look like an inside job, like you said. It looked like they wanted it to happen. And so, also another thing that was happening before all this is that anytime there was a Trump rally or a large group of so-called right wingers that went anywhere, whether it's pro-life people or whatever, you would always have at that time BLM or Antifa would show up to fight them. Where were they? Where were they this time? They were in the crowd pretending to be MAGA supporters. And so there's just a lot of weird stuff that went on during this time. And the fact that it's a perfect setup to say, first of all, one thing, because Trump incited this is what we got going on now. The indictments that are going on with Jack Smith, how Trump, they got him through 3 or 4 indictments, and one of them is back inciting a riot. Well, if you read what he actually said on that day, he said, we're going to go down to the Capitol peacefully. He even used the word peacefully because he knew, and let them hear our voices. Now, peacefully doesn't mean breaking windows. Well, he should have said more. Whether he said he could have, should have, that's not, you can't base law on that. He didn't say, we're going to go down there, we're going to rip that building down until they overthrow this election and make me president. If he said something like that, okay, but he didn't. He said, we're going to go down there peacefully and let our voices be heard.
Yep.
So I don't understand how we even have this thing going on now, the indictments. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and people are making it seem like he's this cult leader, like he made them do that. And I love how you talk about that in your book as well. How they made him into this cult leader. But how can a person do this? How did he get to this point?
Just the same way Adolf Hitler did. They're just stupid and they don't listen. I would submit right-wing people are more politically involved in day-to-day bills and stuff like that than the person that's gluing themselves to the street.
Yeah.
So I mean, not saying they're always going to be that way. There's some, obviously, just, for example, I think it's in the book, I say this in the book, there's 3 manifestations of the KKK. The first one was right after the Civil War, the Democrats wanted to intimidate newly allowed black voting, and the right-wingers or the Republicans that allowed them to vote. And so the KKK came out and was intimidating people with burning the crosses and all that, night riders with their hoods on. That was the first manifestation of the KKK. And then they came around again in the 20s and 30s, when more black people started to vote again, because black people kind of shrunk back from being part of society when that happened. So back in the 30s and 20s and 30s, you had at one of the Democrat conventions, I think it was in Chicago, where the Klan was there, and part of the convention, they were part of the Democrats. So that was the second manifestation. This current manifestation is probably more right-wing, because these are good old boys that think that the Republicans are the party of racists, which they are not. The Republican Party actually got its existence out of being anti-slavery. That's where it started. So how it gets to being the party of racists is wrong. So anyhow, there's a flip that where the Democrats want you to see the Republicans associated with the Klan, which in reality, they're associated with the Klan. I don't know how we got on that, but there we go.
They're trying to flip the script.
Yeah, and they've been doing that since they lost the Civil War, because they used to say, well, yeah, the Dixiecrats aren't, but Malcolm X, if you read in the book, Malcolm X said a Dixiecrat is nothing more than a Democrat in disguise. He said that in 1964 at the very height of the so-called civil rights movement. So I want to know when this script somehow flipped, where suddenly the Democrats became the guy for the, for the downtrodden, for the poor. It didn't. What they did is they realized they no longer had a base. So the Republicans had a base. Their base from the very beginning was the businessman and things like that. The base of the Democrat was a racist plantation farmer down south. Well, when the South got beat, the Democrats no longer had a base. It was so they could, well, how the hell do we stay in power? We're going to hobble together a new base. What we'll do is we'll work on the poor people. When FDR got in there, I talked about this before. We'll talk about the poor people. We'll tell black people we're there to help you. We're going to save you from those rich, mean white guys. That's what, and that's still their mantra. We're going to save you from rich, mean white guys like Trump. And so black people believe it and they vote for him, even though we just had Biden during this last election tell you ain't black unless you vote for me. I mean, what black person is going to vote for an old rich white guy that says that to them? But they still did. Yes. What the hell? So I want to know when this supposed switch in parties happened, because it definitely didn't happen in the 30s or the 50s or the 60s or the 70s. When did it happen? It never did. You still have Democrats telling us that black people are too dumb to get ID. And that's the reason why we can't have voter ID laws. Black people are too dumb or too poor. Even give you free IDs. That's an insult to black people. I don't know one black person that doesn't have an ID if they want one, except for the ones hiding away, like the rest of them.
And the ones in gangs. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yo, I ain't need no IDs. Yeah, tap my ID, motherfucker.
And this whole switching parties, a big help was the propaganda.
Oh yeah. Definitely propaganda works.
Exactly. They normalized whatever they want to normalize by just playing it over and over in the television every day. You get that embedded in your head, and then you teach that to your kids as well.
Right, in your school, all time school, they're telling about the climate change. Now I'm back to school in the 1970s. In the 1970s, they told us there was a coming ice age, not a climate, not a heat age, a ice age. We're all going to freeze. They changed it further on as it went along, because obviously that wasn't working, because it wasn't getting any colder. So now, because every summer it feels hot, they go, oh, we're going to be coming, we're all going to die from climate change, global warming. And it seems real because we forget from year to year. Dang, it's so damn hot. But it was that way last year too. We just forget. Maybe not you and I, because we live in hot climates, but people who in places where it changes, like, it is so hot. Oh my God, maybe the Democrats are right. It is global warming. It's not.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because this whole heat wave, that I was seeing that they're talking about that it's going to get so hot that our solar panels are going to melt, and we're going to go in power outage for like a year. And, just stuff like that, it's still going on, just that the stories are getting more modern.
Right. And the whole, they're saying that these fires that happened in Canada and over in Greece on that island are caused by global warming. Well, no, you'll just do a little bit of research on your own, and you'll find out most of them were caused by arsonists.
Yes.
Environmental arsonists are purposely burning them, same way that people are gluing themselves to streets to supposedly get attention for their cause.
Yep, that's very true.
We need to get some of these crazy people under control before they kill us all.
Yeah, and the media don't really pay attention to them,
No, because you know what I think it is? I think the political elite, including the media, who are often, if you do some research as well, you'll find a lot of the main journalists, they're married to somebody in politics, typically Democrats. But anyhow, I think they actually believe that once societies start collapsing around them, they're still going to be on the upper echelons. They're still going to be in control, no matter who's down here, and they're going to be able to control that. So they don't really care whether you and I fight and fight and fight, because they still think they're going to, I'm in my gated community, taking around my bulletproof limo. I'm not going to worry about that. Even if you people burn down your own cities, which seems to happen every time there's a riot. Why do people burn down their own cities? I want justice now. I'm going to go steal a TV and get some liquor. I mean, how's that justice for anyone? I don't get it.
You're 100% right, because you ever watch those movies, The Purge?
Yeah, those are scary, aren't they?
And that's along the lines you were talking about, because the people out there killing each other, and the rich are up there in their gated communities with their fucking $1 million security system.
It's not just the rich, though. Let's just make a clarification. It's the political class rich.
Yes, yep.
Because you can be rich and still be a cool person. You don't have, just because you're rich doesn't make you an asshole right away. I mean, look how much money you have.
right? I'm rolling in dope. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you're right. It's the political, the ones that are up there and making the rules, I guess you would say.
Right. Right. And even like the Hollywood elite rich people, sometimes it comes back to bite them. They just had uh Smith. What's his first name? I can't think of his name. Smith.
Will Smith? No,
Will Smith. Yeah. For some reason I want to say Michael. Will Smith, he just said one of the biggest mistakes was allowing his kids. He just said this to get into Hollywood because it destroyed his family. They didn't understand reality because Will Smith didn't come from that. Will Smith came from a lesser, more realistic background. His kids never saw what it means to be a realistic person, and he gets that now. But it's always too late when you get that far along. It's always too late. So rich people sometimes they start out as okay people, they become assholes because if I'm on my yacht, half the year, I don't realize what other people are doing and how they're trying to like they're talking about how that they have this Inflation Reduction Act. And I think Nancy Pelosi just recently said that Biden needs to help people understand it's actually working. Well, no, he doesn't, because if it was actually working, we would just know it. Gas wouldn't be $4 or $5 a gallon. Eggs wouldn't be $5 to $7 a dozen. We would know it. We wouldn't need anybody to tell us it's working. So it's all just like you said, propaganda.
Remember, $100 will get you like hella food at the groceries.
Oh yeah,
$100 ain't shit, bro. It's crazy.
You get $100, you thought you were rich for a minute.
Yeah.
So not now. I mean, you could barely get a pizza and some drinks, and you're gone.
Very true, bro. Even restaurants, everything's going up. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. So this book, More Than Trump, is not about Trump. As you saw, how much have we really been talking about Trump? We've been talking about everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this book's about. But it is about, it circles around Trump, centers around Trump, because why is Trump so different than all these other people? We already addressed that. He's not a politician. Is he sometimes an egotistical blowhard? Yes, he is. But if you had that kind of money and you were able to be that successful, wouldn't you be a little bit egotistical? You would. You can't be a politician without having a little bit of ego, because you have to believe that somehow you're going to be able to govern a whole country. Now, to me, even though he is egotistical, he's not as egotistical as some other politicians who think that I'm going to tell you, like, the thing that used to always annoy me about Obama more than anything, that's not who we are. Well, you're the president. You don't get to tell us who we are. You're one man. We are who we are. Matter of fact, you're not even who we are. You come from a background that's not even like American. So I always hate that when politicians try to tell us who we are. He's nothing like you, and he's nothing like me. He's somebody different. Trump at least gets down there with his construction workers. I know he like you said, when he got in trouble with the whole Access Hollywood tape. Well, that's the way guys talk in the locker room.
Yeah, that's true.
And we know it's true.
Yeah,
we know it's true. It might not be appropriate, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We've been pretty civil on this show so far, but I've seen some of your shows that aren't so civil.
Oh yeah,
that even Trump would blush on.
It's down and dirty, bro.
Yeah,
but it's true. That's how men talk. That's how we bond. You know what I mean?
Right, and we don't always mean it. We don't. I mean, most of the time, that Trump said, my problem. I think he said this somewhere. My problem is not that I dislike women. I love them too much.
Right.
So that's the problem.
And how you were saying about Obama, like, that's not who we are. Like, Bush kind of did something similar as well.
All the politicians, yeah.
They'd be like, if you're not with us, you're against us. So that immediately divides everybody, right? And
right.
makes people fight, right? Oh, you don't agree with me? You're against us,
Mm-hmm. All politicians do that. And I didn't hear ever Trump doing that. I mean, he did talk when people actually were hateful to America. He did call that out. If you say, like, I hate America, I'm not going to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance or the anthem, blah, blah. Okay, well, you should be called out, especially if you're on for example, the women's soccer team that they just lost to Sweden. I don't know if you're following sports. I follow everything. I'm just a man of the whatever. So I've been following the women's soccer sports. They just lost to Sweden because the one lady, I can't remember, Raponi or something, I think is her last name. She's got the green hair and short hair like it's like a dude. And she always kneels down at the anthem. Anyhow, she went to kick a penalty shot, which is just a simple kicking into what is that? Goals, 12 feet, 10 feet? I don't know how wide they are. And she missed it. She shot right over it. She didn't even hit the goalie or anything. The goalie didn't stop. She hit it right over it. And she lost. So my point is that Trump would speak about people who don't represent America. You're on a team that's the U.S. soccer team, and you can't even stand up for the actual anthem of the U.S. Get off the team. What the hell?
For real, for real.
Same thing. Same with all these other athletes. They're on national teams, national best basketball, NBA. Get off there if you don't want to be a national team. That's for the nation. It's not your personal social agenda.
And it's funny how they like, oh, they take a knee and they become heroes. It's like, bro, like really? Like, do people have no life that these people in sports, they're getting paid millions of dollars a year. They're trying to get political. Like, was it Kaepernick or
Kaepernick? Mm-hmm.
And then there's that basketball player. I forgot his name. But he's against the anthem, but he's sponsored by Nike, which little kids, little slaves are making those shoes in another country,
in China. Yep.
Right.
It's just the hypocrisy is just too much, and it's if you do your research, but you don't want to do your research because then you have this moral question you have to deal with. I mean, literally, even me, for example, I try to only patronize, companies I like, but I'm sure I give money to companies I don't like, companies that are supporting abortion, all kinds of stuff. But you can't do all the research, but do a little bit of research. When a company like, for example, Bud Light comes out and says what it does, it's not a protest, it's not a boycott. These people are just done with you because you tried to push this on them, and they're done. It's not they're going to forgive you or not going to forgive you. You cross the line. So
he really dropped the ball on that, bro.
Yeah. You're just there to sell beer. You're not there to try to do that. You could even had him sitting there with other dudes and drinking beer, but once you had him on the can and stuff, you ruined yourself.
Yeah.
You're not coming back from that.
And they put like rainbows and stuff on the can. Yeah, like, what are you doing?
And I don't think they're not reading the room, because really, even though LGBTQ, and I don't want to offend anybody here, but the reality is there's only 5 to 7% of those people are represented in the US, at least. If that's your demographic, even though they're very loud, I get that, they're very noisy and make it look like they're everywhere. They're not really everywhere. If you're catering to that demographic, you're not a very good marketer. Just try to cater everybody. We're here to sell beer to anybody who likes to drink beer. If you're a Mexican, if you're a white guy, if you're a black guy, if you're a gay guy, if you're a straight guy, if you're a dog and you like drinking beer, we're gonna sell it to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they should worry about.
Yep. Hey, thirsty? Drink a beer.
Yeah, there you go. And so again, the More Than Trump book is about these kind of concepts and revolving around this whole MAGA thing. What is this MAGA? Make America Great Again. Who the hell wouldn't want to make America great again? And some people, what does that mean? Does that mean that make America racist again? Bring back slavery? Bring back Jim Crow laws? Nobody's saying that. That's not it. Why do you even try that? It just means bring back when people were proud to be American. You were proud to do things that you were even when you have the history of slavery and everything else, you still were proud to be an American, because this country, compared to any other country, allows opportunities that other countries. Otherwise, you wouldn't have all these people trying to break in through the borders. If it was such a bad country, why the hell are you coming here?
And during the riots, right, when they're burning their own cities down, allows these people were being shot with rubber bullets, right? And the cops, they were doing it incorrectly, because they're supposed to shoot at the ground and it bounces off and then hit you, right? Supposed to lose velocity, because they're not non-lethal. It's less than.
No.
So they shoot you in the head somewhere critical, that rubber bullet can still kill you because it's going so fast, right?
Right.
Shooting them directly at the crowd and fucking people up, doing major damage. And it's not right. But I tell people, you're lucky you're in the US, because if you see riots in other countries, they don't use rubber bullets. They just straight up fucking shoot you with a rifle,
or run over you with tanks like they did in Tiananmen Square in China.
Yep.
People don't get it. They think this country is such there's a bunch of fascists and hateful people here. If they were that hateful, you wouldn't be able to have these. I don't understand, for example, where all these people get these transitions they're getting. Who's paying for that, and what doctor's doing that? Yeah, I want you to cut off my wee and I don't even get how do you start with that process? I don't want to know, so don't send me any emails. But I'm like, how in the hell does that even start? What doctor's doing that? Is it plastic surgeon? And where did you get the money? Because I go to the doctor for one little simple thing, like I get a cold and it's $30 just for the office visit. So how much is that thing? If you have to get your little weenie, cut off or put a fake one on, that has to be a lot of money.
Oh yeah, hundreds of thousands.
I'm not even talking about the morality. And I'm just thinking, and then I look at these people thinking, how the hell do you have that money? Who are you? Where's that coming from?
And we're lucky, like the insurrection, they were lucky it's in the US, because if it's in other country and you try and do that, they'll straight up just fucking shoot you and kill
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, they would just stand in a line, circle, and anybody that's coming near that circle just start shooting out and they'll be in.
Yeah, yep.
And I guarantee that, but in the end of any kind of insurrection. But this, like I said, this seems, especially after Capitol Police Stephen's son said something wasn't right. It looks like they wanted this to happen. And I think they did, because this is the perfect foil for keeping Trump from ever getting back at office. Because I think he would have easily gotten back at office. One, if the virus didn't happen, because everything was low, the prices were low of everything, and everything was going good. And this so-called insurrection that happened. If these two things didn't happen, he'd be a shoe-in for office.
Yep. And I think this insurrection was also more than Trump, because, the laptop going missing, like a lot of weird stuff went on,
Yeah, just enough. So, what time we have? I've been talking too long? What do
we're at 50 minutes.
we have 50 minutes more?
Oh, no. We've been going on 50 minutes.
Okay, so we're almost done. So we'll go moving on to wrap type stuff. So in the more than Trump, you have to speculate. Now, what's going to happen now? Because he's under indictment. He just showed up in court on August 3rd, I think it was. I can't remember the date. It's one of those dates, just here a couple of days ago. And he has to show up again on August 28th. Now, this book will be out in August 23rd, so it'll be out. I won't know won't be able to write it in the book. That's what happens. So they basically said, you incited a riot. He conspired to start the riot. He conspired against people's rights. And this jail term, if you look at this stuff, he could get 500-600 years in jail and possibly execution.
What?
Yeah, it's there's an execution clause in some of this stuff.
What the fuck?
So what do you people want to do with this? You really want this to happen? You already think these people are Trump cultists, and you're going to do that to them? I mean, look what happened to Jesus Christ. I'm not saying he's Jesus Christ, but look what happened to Jesus Christ when they killed that guy.
Yeah.
You want to see something grow? It's not about Trump. It's more than Trump. You don't get it. You can get rid of Trump and it won't be about it. Even if he goes away peacefully, it's not going to go away. There was the Tea Party movement before this. You remember them? That was the same kind of concept. People who just want freedom, want to be left alone, want to live in a country where they're not molested and told what to do by a government. True. And so next, what we're talking about is the 28th, depending what happens there. But right before that, Trump, not too long ago, on his social media feed, Truth Social, which is alternative to Twitter, now called X, he said that, let's see, I'm trying to remember, if you come after me, I'm going to come after you, something along those lines. Well, now you got all these people upset, including the judge and he's intimidating us. He says he's going to come after us and he's going to rate retribution. He's not saying that at all. He's saying that if this corrupt system, all of it, from everything that's going on, the Department of Justice, if you come after him, he's going to come after you. Well, that's the reason why we need to put him in jail right now. That just feeds more what he's trying to say. He's trying to say this entire system's incorrupt. You have FBI agents like that Peter Strzok, what his name was. Remember him? Peter Strzok was having an affair with one of his mistresses. I don't remember her name now. Lisa Page. That's it. Lisa Page. And he said he was going to stop Trump. You're an FBI agent. Talk about election interference. When you say you're going to stop Trump while you're in the middle of an investigation on Trump, you're interfering in an election. So my point is, Trump, when he says, I'm going to come after you, he's talking about the entire system. He's not talking about some specific judge or jurors or witnesses or anything like that. Quit that game. That's not true. However, they'll probably use that to him. I wouldn't be surprised if this coming week they try to actually put him in jail, saying that he's at risk. Yeah, see what happens then. And then comes August 28th, which is the actual trial. Who knows what happens then? So this is all getting pretty interesting, and I don't know how far they want to push it. And I don't know. I mean, we've said this before. Right wingers typically are people who have jobs and don't have time to glue themselves to roads when they're upset. They're out there working. So they don't typically go out and protest and burn down stores or steal large screen TVs or liquor from liquor stores to get justice. They typically just get upset and try to vote. But now it looks like voting doesn't work anymore. It looks like there's some kind of corrupt system going on here where the votes aren't working. So I don't know what lengths it's going to take before the right wingers get upset and actually do something. But something's going to happen here, or not. Maybe nothing happens. Maybe Trump gets arrested. He goes down to history. Nothing happens. The right wing doesn't do anything. Biden get back in office. We get more and more of what we got now, and it just keeps going that direction. Who knows?
What if he's in jail and they Epstein him? You know.
Oh, well, that'll probably be happen. That'll probably happen. No, the cameras don't work, and then the people are on break getting a hoagie or something.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that we don't have any arrest from the Epstein, records for any of those people who actually visited the island, but we do have arrest of a former president. That's
Exactly.
pretty bad. Yeah. So you have all these, and we couldn't even figure out where the cocaine came from. You got the entire White House, the most secure building in the world, supposedly. Okay, there's a bag of cocaine laying around, and the FBI, well, we don't know where it comes from, but we're going to go ahead and destroy it and get rid of all the evidence, so nobody can ever figure it out.
They're like, oh, guess we don't know.
Yeah, guess we don't know. Stuff like that. It's crazy. So more than Trump, it's going to come out August 23rd, and hopefully I'm trying to time the audiobook for it so it all comes out at once. It's a little tricky process because you got to write it while you're going. So I'm still writing it. Then it'll all come out, and hopefully people will get it, even if you hate politics, because I think it's just an interesting read because it kind of gives you the background without making it like a history lesson, but something just like you said, you read a little bit already. It looks like you're liking it.
And you bring up a lot of interesting points, man, about, just the government itself and just stuff that the media doesn't really like to talk about. I love that, and you do your research as well, man.
But unfortunately, it might depress you too, because you're like, what the hell's going on? What kind of country I live in? It's made me want to move out in the woods. That's the reason I move out in the woods and know where if I would have won that $1.5 billion or where the heck it was in the lottery, if the Mega Millions here just recently, you'd never see me again. I would have been calling you from the island. I'm on the Rod Island. There aren't any hoes here though, but I'm on the Rod Island. So,
just go ghost, bro. Living the life.
Well, I'm getting too old for hoes anyhow.
But yeah, August 23rd.
August 23rd is supposed to be out in print, ebook, and hopefully audiobook.
More Than Trump. And
More Than Trump.
Check out roderick.com for more information, more books as well. And and I love that you are very talented in writing, but multi-genre, right? Because it's not just one type of book, one topic. You write about everything, bro. I love that.
No, we had the fiction with you taking on the conquistadors. We have books like this. We have biographies of World War II people. We have sociological books. We have religious. We have all kinds of, because time is ticking for me, and I needed to get all this out before that time expires. So, and if you hate reading books, we said this before. If you hate reading books, my book's like 150 pages long. 2 hours is an audio book. It's not some boring read. You're gonna be done with it. You're gonna be at McDonald's waiting in the drive-through line and be half done with the book. So.
Yep. And I love
and your fries will still be cold.
Bags. Get the wrong order.
You're gonna be sued now. How dare you say McDonald's has cold fries, Chuy show? You'll be apologizing, crying. I'm sorry that I had Roderick Edwards on my show.
I'm gonna drop to my knees and go, no.
All right.
Well, thanks again, man, and keep kicking ass, bro. I love your work, and yeah, man. Till next time.
Screaming Chuy.
Peace out, bro.
Peace out.